Hello, beautiful soul family, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided transformation and empowerment. I am your host, Dearjames, and together with the unseen, Spirit, Source, and Symphony, we look at the current energies, the intuitive wisdom and insights, and we go as guided. And we are working with some beautiful energies that just occurred. The Virgo new moon partial solar eclipse that happened on the 21st, followed by the September equinox that happened on Monday. And then, of course, today, some powerful Mars, Uranus, Neptune, Yod, and this Mars Pluto square. All of these energies are going to be arcing out for a good 3 to 6 months plus. So, welcome, Kiki. Welcome, Colleen. Welcome, Alicia. So, we have a lot to get to because it's actionary, and we'll get to that in a second. So, let's just take a look at our main energies because this is also very interesting. So, we have double nines, double 24s, this 924, 924, small restraint, surrender, and this return, go back. And of course, small restraint surrender is proactive and it's about right action. And then this return, go back is always about going back to your soul source connection, to the unseen. God, Allah, Buddha, the all that is, and then ultimately culminating in this number six, this conflict. Let go of the conflict, let go of the past so that we move forward into the present future. Now let's take a look at we're using the Virgo new moon partial solar eclipse chart, and beautiful, beautiful, beautiful energies. So yes, we have what's called a kite formation in the center uh, image of the wheel. You have the kite formation, you have the mini grand trine, you have a grand trine, it's an air grand trine. You have these squares that we're going to be talking about. So all of this energy that is literally going to be arcing out for the next 3 to 6 plus months. Bear that in mind. And this theme, so when we look at the astrological influences, again, we're back to taking flight, leaving it all in the past. And so we've had this theme for the last 3 to 4 shows where we're literally about leaving it all in the past. We're leaving the past to accept and receive the present future. And this started back on August 23rd with that new moon, the first new moon in Virgo at 0 degrees. And then it culminates in that second new moon and the solar eclipse that happened at the anaretic degree of 29 degrees in Virgo. And then, of course, the equinox and this Yod formation and this Mars Pluto square that's occurring today. So it leads us to our main theme, fast approaching revelation. And this word revelation, you're going to hear it throughout the broadcast. And so we have fast approaching revelation and then revealing what's hidden. And you see in the image, this is like the iridescent rainbow, but these are quartz crystal. So this clarity that it brings and the release that it brings. So as we look here, it's our keyword as well. So let me just bring that up, this keyword of revelation. And you have this beautiful rose against the open book of Revelation and everything. But Revelation it's not always just in a biblical sense. This is a surprising and previously unknown fact, especially one that is made known in a dramatic way. The divine or supernatural disclosure to humans of something relating to human existence or the world. An act of revealing or communicating divine truth. Something that is revealed by God to humans. The act of making something known that was secret, or a fact that is made known. The disclosing of some form of truth or knowledge through communication with a deity, God, or other supernatural entity. So you get the picture. This is fast approaching revelation, revealing what's hidden. And you will see how in the astrological energies that we read from Astrology by Lauren or Ethereal Culture with Juliana McCarthy and others, this word revelation is playing out throughout all of their writings about these energies, these astrological events. So let's just jump right into it and we're going to start with astrologer Chani Nicholas and The Weekly. And it's number 3 from the unseen, and she inspired this because it's issue number 84. And she said, "Your blank slate is ready." And number 3 with the unseen, "Your blank slate is ready. Go forth and conquer." So we're taking off. We're leaving the past behind. And that's a good thing. It's about sloughing off the old so that we make space for the new. And so there can be melancholiness and a little bit of nervousness and so forth, but it's about capturing the new. And so your blank slate is ready, go forth and conquer. And Chani Nicholas is speaking. She says, "Fresh start, anyone? Libra season is officially in session, and with it, the equinox offers us the ultimate clean slate. With eclipse season barely behind us, the timing really couldn't be better. Use this moment to figure out which dynamics are off kilter and recalibrate balance where you can. There's extra courage and strategy on tap right now, thanks to Mars in Scorpio." So Mars has just moved into Scorpio. However, if you thought the drama was done, think again. There's a Mars-Pluto feud this week, today, Wednesday, that will bring all the trolls to the yard. Some games may be rigged and some people may refuse to play fair, but when you choose your battles wisely, you can still win on your terms. Her advice: pour your energy into beginning again. So, revelation, new beginnings. And they said that number 1 from the unseen, they said, "Actionary energies abound. Buckle up, buttercups." Well, buttercups. Let's go to buttercups. A buttercup is a flower. A buttercup symbolizes joy, happiness, innocence, and childishness, reflecting its bright appearance and association with childhood. Other meanings include humility, neatness, new beginnings, youth, good health, and even ungratefulness. It's a shadow aspect, depending on cultural context and color. The flower's connection to children is reinforced by its nickname and appearance in folklore and myths. And so the positive symbolism of the buttercup is joy and happiness, childhood and innocence, new beginnings and youth, good fortune and renewal, humility and simplicity. Its shadow side can mean ungratefulness and toxicity. And so in folklore, buttercups are featured in various tales and myths, such as the story of the miser who lost his coins to fairies, which contributes to the meaning of ungratefulness. It's also in North American folklore. The buttercup is known as coyote eyes, a reference to a legend where Coyote created new eyes from the flower after losing his own. And lastly, in the language of flowers, floriography, a buttercup symbolizes attraction, charm, and admiration. So this active, actionary energies abound. Buckle up, buttercups. It's about, again, which train are you on, which path, which tree, which house. It's all of this that plays to whether or not it's the positive symbolism or the negative symbolism that each of us will experience. But these are actionary energies that are going to arc out and play out for the next 3 to 6 months. So there's an awareness, and there's always time to, change lanes, change trees, change houses, change trains. It's all up to us. It's what we choose. It's always based on choice. And so as we look at this, let's move forward now into astrologer Pam Youngin's North Point Journal. And she's speaking about true colors. It has been said that we are most likely to see someone's true colors when they are under stress. According to an online dictionary, quote, "Seeing someone's true colors means realizing a person's authentic character or personality, especially under stress, pressure, or in situations involving power or money. This often involves observing their actions and how they treat others, rather than just their words, to understand their deeper motives and behavior." We have that sort of stressful situation this week as assertive Mars enters emotionally intense Scorpio and immediately forms hard aspects with the 3 transpersonal planets. Uranus, it's the higher mind, expect the unexpected. Neptune, it can be the highest ideal, and it can be the illusion delusion, and Pluto, the god of the underworld. The strongest of these three aspects is no doubt Wednesday's, that's today's, powerful revelatory, there's that word, revelation, revelatory Mars-Pluto square. But the red planet is also in the apex, meaning in the high position, of a challenging yod configuration with Uranus and Neptune on Monday and Tuesday. So this was just the last 2 days. The Mars-Uranus-Neptune yod. A yod is formed when one planet is quincux, it's 150 degrees from two other planets that are then sextile each. They're separated by 60 degrees in astrology. In appearance, a yod looks like an elongated isosceles triangle. Astrologer Bill Turney offers this interpretation of the configuration in his book Dynamics of Aspect Analysis. A yod is like arriving at a fork in the road and having to proceed in one direction or the other without knowing where either road is going to lead. And that's what this is about, this fast approaching revelation, revealing what's hidden. Actionary energies abound. Buckle up, buttercups. Because this is all about leaving the past behind and this choice point. And which road do you choose? Which road do we choose? And whichever one we choose, as we've spoken about before, and this is that beautiful image, it's the star card, the hermit, the temperance card, and the tower. The light in the hermit's card is the star card. It is the star, and thereby it only illuminates our next steps. That's what we can see. That's what we will be made known to us. And so this event, this yod formation, that's also part of the kite formation and a part of the Mars-Pluto square. It's about these changes, and we don't know. It's a fork in the road. Which direction are we going to go? This change, of course, is not really a matter of conscience, deliberate decision-making, but instead is one due to unrecognized necessity. This new direction, once embarked upon, may appear abrupt or unaccounted for. A yod configuration is also called, quote, the finger of God, or the finger of fate. Thus, events that unfold this week, and arcing out, could feel fated or karmic in nature. So this is the higher hand, and this is where we let go. We've been talking about let go during this time because all of these major planets changing. It's like the major arcana in the tarot. These are fated, destined events. This is not our everyday making decisions. Our decision is to be in alignment. Our decision is to let go, to be in the flow with this extraordinary change, which means it's an extraordinary opportunity. It's an opportunity to reinvent, reimagine, to release the past, to see what's on offer that's far greater, the master weaver, the host. That the unseen, the divine, is literally co-creating and crafting for us. Pam Youngins, she goes on to speak about the Mars-Pluto square. The energies of the confrontational Mars-Pluto square that perfects on Wednesday are woven into our experiences of the yod and will no doubt exacerbate the intensity of our emotional responses throughout the first half of the week. One could say lingering on through. It'll be most intense, of course, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but it's going to linger out. But it might make it easier to describe the Mars-Pluto aspect as a separate event, just as a way to help us wrap our brains around it all. There is usually great tension when the planet of war, which is Mars, and the planet of transformation, Pluto, are in hard aspect. Each of the planets by itself is forceful, assertive, wants to be in control, and doesn't shy away from battle. Bullying behaviors are possible when Mars squares Pluto, and power struggles could be exacerbated. With both planets being in fixed signs, Scorpio and Aquarius, a stubborn resistance to change might be a root cause of stress. This is where we want to examine, where are we holding on? Where are we not letting go? Where are we, obstructing the flow as opposed to being in the flow? Other manifestations of the Mars-Pluto square could include revelations revelations of subversive or secret activities, fast approaching revelations revealing what's hidden. And so Pam Youngins is speaking to other manifestations of this Mars-Pluto square could include revelations of subversive or secret activities which feed already existing conflicts. On an individual level, we could experience an eruption of emotions that have been suppressed or repressed up to this point. But there's this aspect of what's hidden or revealing what's hidden, like things coming to light in an unexpected ways. It's like the unseen is saying like this, just this rush of hidden things, revelations, things that are brought to the fore, brought to bear. And Pam Youngins at North Point Journal, she concludes moon activation. Although she doesn't usually include lunar aspects other than lunations in the journal, she wants to give us a heads up that the Scorpio moon will be adding its intensity to the emotional landscape early on Wednesday. This is today. The moon is exactly square Pluto and conjunct Mars, just 4 minutes after the Mars-Pluto square perfects. So these are tightly conjunct events that are occurring, astrological events. The Sabian symbol for the second degree of Scorpio, where the moon and Mars align. And remember, the moon reveals what's hidden. It is the receptive, it's the divine feminine, and so it's also in its fullness or in its mystery, its newness, it can reveal. It's conjunct, it's aligned with Mars. Underscores the powerful changes and endings we are currently navigating, both with eclipse season and with this week's powerful aspects. Here's the Sabian symbol. A delicate bottle of perfume lies broken, releasing its fragrance. The accidental nature of opportunities that impel one to break away from the past, the remembrance of which is still poignant and cherished. The explanation of this symbol by astrologer Dane Rudhyar reads, "A new and greater realization usually demands the sacrifice of something which has brought fragrance to a lesser form of living and feeling. Old feelings and relationships are poignantly remembered, even as one moves into a new and wider sphere of experience." So the beauty of this symbol is about releasing the past. It's our astrological influence, taking flight, leaving it all in the past. And there's melancholy in that. There's this sense of, there is a sense of loss, and yet there's a sense of adventure, of what's new, of what's to come, of what's before us. And number two from the unseen, they said, "Peace be with you and also with you." And then immediately, which was again this beautiful salutation, this greeting. So peace be with you and also with you. And then they said reciprocal readiness, taking advantage of the present moment. Strike while when the iron is hot. And reciprocal readiness is the mutual and ongoing willingness of all parties in a relationship to actively engage and invest in one another, creating an equal and balanced give and take dynamic. Instead of an imbalanced, one-sided dynamic, it creates a foundation of trust, respect, and mutual support. So the unseen is greeting us, peace be with you, and also with you. This oneness, this unity, and this reciprocal readiness. The way we harness these energies and these next 3 to 6 months in the eclipse, the second Virgo new moon and the eclipse, and the equinox, and the yod, and the Mars-Pluto square, the friction of that is in reciprocal readiness, mutual and ongoing willingness of all parties in a relationship to actively engage and invest in one another, creating an equal and balanced give and take dynamic. This is about win-win. This is about mutual respect, mutual reciprocity. And it talks about active listening, equal effort, mutual respect, constructive conflict, meaning when disagreements arise, both parties are willing to compromise and work towards solutions rather than seeking to, quote, win an argument or a disagreement. And this avoiding scorekeeping. It's not about tit for tat. This is about how in each relationship, whether it be romantic, platonic, professional, that we're seeking win-win outcomes. It's about, the positive light aspect of reciprocity, of this reciprocal readiness. Because when we do that, well, then of course everybody does literally win. Others may lead or prevail, yet everybody can win. There doesn't have to be winners versus losers. That's an old mentality. That's an old paradigm. When we seek to, collaborate in the positive aspect of it, it's pure because everyone's in reciprocal readiness and reciprocity with one another. And then again, number 3, your blank slate is ready. Go forth and conquer. So that's actionary. These are actionary times to take action, to be in the flow, to be in alignment with what's before us, what's coming, not what we're letting go, what's coming, and to be ready to jump. Be ready. That was last week. Jump. Be ready to jump. It's be ready. Be in the flow. So next up, we have ethereal culture. It's Juliana McCarthy, and she is speaking about the Virgo solar eclipse and breaking down to break through. So this is about that stripping, emptying the vessel to break through, to jump. And she begins, on Sunday, a partial solar eclipse forms at the anaretic degree of Virgo. That's that 29th degree, the last degree of the sign. Our karma and timelines have been ramping up since the Pisces lunar eclipse 2 weeks ago. The energies feel overwhelming and a bit stressful, possibly manifesting through digestive and health issues, which are now activated. If we're not careful, our minds could spin with overthinking and worry as we fall into Virgo's neurotic potentials. And I've spoken with many friends, colleagues, there's been a bit of an edginess to the energies building up to this. They seem to be subsiding, releasing, but there was an edginess, a little bit of snarky edginess to the energies. Ethereal culture. Juliana McCarthy. This moment calls for vigilance, discernment, clarity, and pure intention, but also surrender. The North Node in Pisces implores us to let go of control and trust that the universe, the unseen, has something in store for us beyond anything we could imagine. See, this is about being the guest, not the host. Allowing the master weaver, God, the all that is, to bring to us what our soul already knows, what our soul already chose, so that when we do it, when we align with it, it brings about things that are beyond anything we could imagine. The sun and the moon activate a grand kite formation, opposing Saturn and Neptune while trining Pluto. That's a harmonious aspect, trining Pluto and Uranus. It spurs a painful purgation process, demanding brutal honesty, stamina, and courage as we step into the next stage of our evolution. Total focus is required with both spiritual and practical goals. Now is not the time for crippling doubt or losing hope. This isn't about monkey mind. This isn't about allowing the monkeys to overrun the asylum and win out. This is about clarity, discernment, perseverance, soul-centered source connection that allows us to breathe in, exhale, I am, which means I am centered. I am okay. I am safe. I am determined. And that you just allow to be in the flow of things. Juliana McCarthy. So now is not the time for crippling doubt or losing hope. Pain is not punishment, but often evidence of rapid transformation. When we steady ourselves, revelation will surely follow. The highest expression of Pisces guides us towards forgiveness, release, and the understanding that we are all part of the same ocean of oneness and love. The more we soften our grip, the more we'll be able to ride the waves crashing towards us. This lunation holds the power to change everything. While the weeks ahead are tense, miracles and surprises are also possible. Our job is to step back and allow life to unfold, to return to center. There's that soul source connection, that hexagram 24, which we're dealing with, return. So return to center and bear witness with calm and clear vision. Respond, don't react. It's about calm and clarity, not chaos and confusion. When we quiet our minds, we'll see that massive forward momentum is already in effect. It's already working with us. So again, are we in alignment? Are we in the flow with it? Because it's quantum leaps of faith. It's number 6 from the unseen. And they said quantum leaps of faith lead to deliverance with an exclamation point. And I'm going to come back to Juliana McCarthy, but quantum leaps. A quantum leap of faith is a spiritual concept referring to a sudden, dramatic, and instantaneous transformation in a believer's spiritual life or understanding, enabling them to bypass the normal, gradual process of spiritual growth. So this is about leapfrogging, just quantum leaping from one state of existence to a higher octave to another. It's an explosive jump from one state to another, defying logical steps and often involving a radical shift in perspective or a new level of connection with God or a higher purpose. This concept is inspired by the scientific phenomenon of a quantum leap, where an electron jumps to a higher energy level instantly. So it literally leapfrogs. So we're talking about, and again, we've been talking about this, how we can just quantum leap, we can leapfrog from where we've been. Maybe you've been stuck or, too much monkey mind. We've been telling ourselves an old story, an old script, or I'm not good enough. I don't have enough. I'm not capable of this. And yet your soul and God and the unseen, and they just all kind of, smile and giggle to themselves, not at us, with us to say, it's okay. We've got you. Because anything's possible. When we're aligned with our soul source connection with source, with the unseen, with the all that is, with God, anything is possible. When we have the faith of a mustard seed, anything is possible. We can move, God moves mountains. So this is what these energies are talking about. This quantum leaps of faith lead to deliverance. The phrase combines the scientific idea of a quantum leap, an electron instantly changing energy states, with the concept of a leap of faith, a term from philosophy and theology. A quantum leap of faith, therefore, describes a spiritual breakthrough that happens in an unexpected and profound way. This is about getting out of our own way. This is about allowing the unseen, Allah, Buddha, God, the all that is, the master weaver, the host, to lead, to guide, to deliver. And so, in unexpected and profound ways, similar to how an electron jumps energy levels without passing through the intermediate space. And deliverance, release from captivity, slavery, oppression, or any restraint, the action of being rescued or set free, to be taken from one place and released into another. So you can see this is high octave energy. And number 4 from the unseen, reasoned wisdom collides with appropriate action. Reasoned wisdom collides with appropriate action. That is 9, small restraint, surrender. And this moving, knowing when to take the steps and what to do. Discernment, clarity. So reasoned wisdom collides with appropriate action. And of course, we've had this beautiful image. It's all about advancing humanity, advancing who we are individually, collectively, where we're going next. And that could be where you're going next in your relationship, in your life, in your professional career. It all depends in your friendships, It all depends on this reasoned wisdom and appropriate action, and they collide. They come together. So let's go back to finish up with Juliana McCarthy from etherealculture.com. The equinox follows this eclipse with the sun's entrance into Libra on Monday. That was on the 22nd of September, lighting up the grand kite with even more precision. Harmony, grace, and spaciousness arrive to balance Virgo's perfectionism and spinning wheels. While this Virgo solar eclipse demands hard work, it also promises high reward. Structures are dissolving and illusions breaking down, but this is how new vision takes root. By relaxing and trusting, we will see that what's falling away is opening the door to something more spacious and aligned. So this is about not fearing the release, the shedding, the releasing of old labels, identities, scripts, stories, truths, relationships, people, places, things. It is about let them fall away, because what's incoming is the new, is going to quantum leap you into a whole other octave of being, of living, of life. We just have to be willing to do it, and that comes down to choice. And it's number 5 from the unseen. They said, go ahead, take the risk, exclamation point. And then they said, it's all good. And that idiom, it's all good, is a versatile, informal idiom meaning everything is fine, no problem, or apology accepted. It's used to express reassurance when there's a minor issue or a potential problem, or to indicate that something is acceptable and there's no need to worry. So it's about reassurance, acceptance. It's general wellness, and that it can also speak to, is there an apology offered or something? It's like, it's all good, it's okay, it's all good, no worries. Acceptance. And so here the unseen is saying, go ahead, take the risk. It's all good. And then I heard sunshine, lollipops, unicorns, and rainbows. It's about the mythical, the mystical, magical. We've had this, the mythical unicorn, the mythical phoenix rising. And here the unseen is saying, go ahead, take the risk. It's all good. And so it's in essence assuring that when we're in, reasoned wisdom collides with appropriate action and we advance, it's okay to take the risk. Be ready, jump. Be ready to jump. It's about recognizing that when these opportunities come to us individually and collectively, because it takes courage, it takes faith and trust in the unseen, in what we cannot see, yet we know it to be true. We can feel it within ourselves. And to go as guided, to actually take that quantum leap of faith, because it delivers us. It will deliver you. And we are seeing that. We've seen recent actions where it took great depth and courage, and yet people spoke. They spoke out, they spoke up, and they spoke truth to power. And how that pushback created a force, a movement that is aligned with the future, with what's before us, with this matriarchal Aquarian era, we the people era. And you'll see how next week the main theme for that is so powerful. The unseen's already given it to me. So let me go back and just finish up with ethereal culture and Juliana McCarthy, the astrologer. With the world in turmoil, we can remember that the collective mirrors the journeys of our own hearts. So in the turmoil, we can remember that the collective mirrors the journeys of our own hearts. It's reflecting the individual. All 8 billion souls, 8.23 billion souls. So the collective mirrors the journeys of our own hearts. This is why it's more important than ever to remain strong and nimble as we stay the course. On this Virgo solar eclipse, May we steady our minds and stay focused on the tasks at hand and the dreams we're in the process of birthing. May we trust the process, release old illusions, and surrender into rapid evolution as we open further into love. This is like cosmic force, cosmic love, which is, of course, at the foundation of all that we are and all that we do. And so, again, the more we align with the light, with the purity of intention, the positivity of it, the purity of the void, the purity of the light, greatness occurs. It just naturally is. It continues to magnify and amplify and ripple in ways, and yet we're called to to conscientiously release the shadow, the shadow within ourselves, the shadow in others, in the relationships. Where have we allowed others to hold us back? And where is that energy a mirror to an old us? One that we are releasing, want to release, will release. It's all choice. So go ahead, take the risk. Quantum leaps of faith lead to deliverance. You've got a blank slate. Your blank slate is ready. Go forth and conquer. It's actionary energies that abound. So buckle up, buttercups. And this peace be with you and also with you. Reciprocal readiness. It's about equal give and take and the harmony and the beauty that comes from that. And how when we are operating in that octave of energy, that's what's being magnetized and drawn to us. Now let's go to Astrology by Lauren. And she's speaking about the solar eclipse in Virgo. And she begins with a quote from The Voice of the Silence. Unthanked and unperceived by men, with countless other stones which form the guardian wall, built by the hands of many masters of compassion, it shields mankind, since man is man, protecting it from further and far greater misery and sorrow. So this guardian wall and these masters of compassion, there's many that have been in human form and discarnate form from the unseen, and how they seek and work vigilantly to protect humankind, because at our worst we fall prey to that shadow aspect of ourselves. So Astrology by Lauren. On Sunday, September 21st, we have a new moon partial solar eclipse at the very last degree of Virgo, making this the second new moon in Virgo this year, as well as the final eclipse of 2025. All eclipses stand as turning points, which can be felt most strongly when they touch a sensitive point of our natal charts. Our natal charts is our birth charts. It's the date, time, and place, a snapshot of when we were born in astrology. This is especially so with the sun, the moon, the ascendant, ruler of the chart of the midheaven. They can also be evidenced in the world at large, where apparent chaos and unexpected changes occur. Solar eclipses, being new moons, are evident of beginnings, but there are many significant considerations for this eclipse, indicating the beginning is predicated on some sort of ending. So contained in the beginning is the end, and contained in the end is the beginning. The eclipse is in the final energetic 29th degree of Virgo, opposite retrograde Saturn at the very end of Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac. It is also conjunct together with the South Node at 18 degrees of Virgo. So yes, it is a time of renewal and new beginnings, but not without some sort of closure first, some sort of ending. And again, we've talked about this is Neptune will re-enter Pisces at the final degree, and then by early 2026, they will forever in our lifetimes leave Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac, and officially re-enter the first sign of the zodiac, Aries. And Uranus will re-enter Taurus, and then officially move in our lifetimes, never to return, into Gemini. And so all of the 5 major outer planets shifting. This is monumental change. This is everlasting, the permanent, everlasting change. Because again, astrology is cyclical, it's not identical. And so it will never repeat itself in the same formation. So Astrology by Lauren is saying, it is a time of renewal and new beginnings, but not without some sort of closure first. With the North Node, where humanity is going, North Node of the Moon in Pisces, and Saturn in opposition to the eclipse, we are asked, what are we willing to forsake for that new beginning to take hold? What are we willing to give up, release, shed, in order for that new beginning to take hold? What are we willing to sacrifice, to release, to let go of? In these very final degrees of the signs of Virgo and Pisces, we find ourselves tying up the loose ends of a previous cycle to prepare for the one which is to follow. Have we gotten the lesson? Are we willing to recognize endings and beginnings, cycles, evolution, and this promise, this beautiful divine promise for what's to come, what's to be? And what do we need to do to receive it? To release the old, letting it all go, to receive the new. Um, Pisces, we find ourselves tying up the loose ends of the previous cycle. Pisces is a sign of completion, where we distill the experiences of the previous cycle to bring its essence into the new cycle, which will come later when Saturn re-enters Aries again, early 2026. In this way, the past invests the future. Virgo is an earth sign, grounded in schedules, guided by plans, organized by routines, and well-honed habits. It uses all these tools to make sense of the insensible and to navigate the chaos of our lives. But with the North Node in Pisces, the current set of eclipses have been asking us to let go and let the universe dictate the plan. This is let Jesus take the wheel. Let God lead. Let the unseen, the soul source connection lead. Dictate the plan. This is the irony of what's happening on the world stage, where man thinks they know better. It's futile. The arc of destiny moves forward, and the all that is, God, the all that is, the divine, is the host, is the master weaver. That supersedes all. So it's to be in alignment with your soul source connection, your knowing. Allow the unseen, the universe, to dictate the plan. It can feel uncertain as we stand here at a threshold, not being able to see what lies ahead. However, somehow we are being asked to trust that we are being brought precisely where we are supposed to be, even if it doesn't feel like it at the moment. So this is about when we know something, we can feel it, we know to do something or not do something, and it's to trust that. And it's to allow that to unfold, because we're being brought to precisely where our soul knows to go, knows to be. And to do this well, we are being asked to connect with our own spiritual center, that spark of divinity within, allowing that to be our guide through what feels like uncertainty and doubt. So yes, just because we can't see down and around the corner, which creates uncertainty and doubt, doesn't mean that it's not right or true for us. And so to follow that wisdom and that guidance faithfully, with great reverence and great determination, because with great perseverance, because when you know, and it's not monkey mind, it's not ego mind personality chatter, it's soul, it's knowing, and it's allowing the divine, oh, you thought you were going to do this, or I thought my life would be that. And yet that beautiful, idiom of, life happens while you're planning. It's about to say, oh no, what my soul said it would do was go this way. And so we show up, we allow, we release, we surrender, we go with the flow of it. And that can be, again, releasing people, places, things, identity, masks, labels, truths, all this stuff, this armor, this stuff that weighs us down. And yet, when we release that all, the purity and the levity of our soul is freed to deliver us where we're going. Astrology by Lauren. When Saturn opposes, it can feel like so many obstacles are being thrown in our path. We feel blocked, hindered, and prevented from moving forward. Our schedules are in disarray, our lives confounded, and yet when we find that stillness within and allow that to be our guide, if we can but let go, or when we can but let go, then we will find our way. So it's about following. 17, follow, be led, show by example. Then we will find our way. It requires trust and maybe a little humility that there is a higher plan, and trust that there are those who might know more than we do, who have been this way before and know that there is this bigger picture. So this is all about the bigger picture. This is all about connecting and really believing in your soul's wisdom, your soul source connection, and knowing that it knows the way. Ego, mind, personality, human is going to come up with a way. The soul knows the way. The solar eclipse does speak to endings and release, but what follows looks like promise and hope for even better things to come. This is because although the eclipse is still in the earth sign of Virgo, it is part of an air grand trine, that beautiful triangle, with Uranus in Gemini and Pluto in Aquarius. There is something revolutionary and even cutting edge when Uranus meets Pluto, especially as Pluto is in the Uranian sign of Aquarius. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. It reeks of freedom, of renewal, and rebirth. However, with an opposition to Neptune as well as Saturn, we cannot see what this all entails. There is illusion here. Not illusion as in it's veiled, it's Neptune. And so it can be fuzzy, like you're kind of looking through fog or something or clouds, because there's an aspect of this that says, in order to get us there, it's slightly veiled. Because it might be like, when we joke about saying, oh, if I, let me see the soul contract and see the fine print, because if I had known I was going to do X, Y, or Z, the human, the ego, mind, person, human would be like, oh, no, I'm not doing that. What? You want me to do what? So this is where it's all lightly veiled, this Neptunian energy, so that we will take the steps, the hermit will take the steps with lit up by the star, the light in the lantern, and arrive at a place that we would never have allowed ourselves, or take that quantum leap that we would never have allowed ourselves. And yet when they culminate in this formation, in this cycle, we do. So Astrology by Lauren. Along with Neptune and Aries, the eclipse not only forms a grand trine, but also a kite formation that dares us to take that next step out into the unknown. There's the quantum leaps, and it's just this beautiful, bringing up the astrology chart. There's that kite formation, the grand trine that all of the astrologers are speaking about, the mini grand trine, the oppositions. You can see here how beautifully aspected this is. And so this is where it's about that kite formation that dares us to take that next step out into the unknown. This is where that element of trust comes in. There is something magical and karmic about the nodes of the moon, where the soul, the moon, spirit, the sun, and the body, the earth, are all in perfect alignment, unified. That's the Mazda rotary engine. They all operate in harmony as one. These eclipses aim to bring us more in touch with what is needed for the evolutionary growth of the soul. This can be so in our individual lives, as well as on a larger societal level, so micro, macro. Because the eclipses are concerned with what the soul needs, it may not necessarily be what our ego wants. It is also the reason why these periods can be so unpredictable. Therefore, unlike ordinary new moons, you might not necessarily want to make intentions the way we normally would, as there is no telling what the outcomes will be. However, What we all can do with this powerful eclipse is sow positive affirmations for faith, trust, and compassionate service for all that lives. Some positive affirmations for the solar eclipse might be, I have faith that I am being led precisely where I need to be, even in the face of uncertainty and doubt. I trust my own inner knowing, my conscience and intuition to guide me. I recognize beauty in imperfection as being part of the divine plan. I lead with compassion in the face of suffering and need. I accept, embrace, and am present with impermanence and uncertainty. I have hope even in the face of extraordinary change. What we are releasing, I release the need to be in control, the need to find fault, the need to have everything be logical and make sense. And she closes with a quote by Joseph Campbell. We must be willing to get rid of the life we've planned so as to have the life that is waiting for us. The old skin has to be shed before the new one can come. Kiki is saying, I have been trusting God and myself in spite of crazy times. Yes, yes, yes. That is this energy. That is what you are to do. And it's to see through, air quotes, the crazy times, the crazy energies. It's to see them for the illusion that they are. They're purposeful. They bring value. Some of the most catastrophic, shadow, goo, darkness allows us to see its extraordinary opposite and thereby lead us to a greater release, a greater octave, a quantum leap, because we have faith in God. We have faith and trust in the unseen. And it's something that we know, we feel it, it's a knowing. It's not something our mind talks us into or out of. It's that our ego, mind, personality, and the human, we harness that force, that creative force, the divine masculine, in service to the unseen, the receptive, God. And thereby, that culminates in quantum leaps. 7 from the unseen. Threshold of the unknown. Universal magic, awe, and wonder. God in and all around you. And then I had the awareness of the God code, the number 42. And we've talked about this, the divine DNA activation. Scientists have talked about it or termed it, originally they termed it junk DNA, then dark DNA. And really those terms I take they kind of get me riled up. Why? Because here's something that's actually the God code, divine DNA. And through our separation, through our shadow, our darkness, the veil, through the illusion of separation, we've termed it junk DNA or dark DNA. It's anything but junk or dark. It's divine. It already resides within us. It's scientifically present. Scientists can have discerned and proven, oh, there's these unactivated strands of DNA within humans. And yet they, I'm using air quotes, in their wisdom, air quotes, they termed it junk DNA or dark DNA. Never considering the possibility that it's divine DNA. Divine. I mean, that's who we are. Human beings are divine. By the grace of God, the unseen, the all that is, we're divine beings. And so, 7 from the unseen, threshold of the unknown. So we're at this threshold of the unknown. This is what Astrology by Lauren is speaking to, and Juliana McCarthy are speaking to. This threshold of the unknown and the unseen, saying universal magic, awe, and wonder. God in and all around you. It's to see it in all things, in ourselves, in others. It's namaste. I bow to the divine in you. That's what namaste means. I bow to the divine in you. It means I see the divine in you. And the God code, this 42, and this divine DNA activation. It's being activated. Kiki, the show Quantum Leap had evil leapers too. Well, yes, again, which train are we on? There can be things that are, again, are we acting in the shadow or are we acting in the light, in the purity of things? And it's a choice. We get to choose which wolf wins, the one you feed. So now we move to hexagram 24, and this is from divination.com, and it's known as returning. A turning point recharges you and eventually brings success. This hexagram is associated with the turning of darkness back toward the light. It has to do with the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year. Of course, we're right at the equinox, we're equal day and night. The day when darkness begins to decrease and the hours of daylight start to increase. So this is speaking to, at this moment, with these energies and this major transition that we've been talking about, see, we've reached a turning point, and the turning point recharges us. And it's associated with the turning of darkness back toward the light. So as we move through the culmination of 2025 into the beginning of 2026 and all these major planets shifting, never to return to their old signs again in our lifetimes, it's about the increasing of light, of daylight, and the decreasing of darkness. This is the cusp of a turnaround, a time for letting go of the old and making way for the new, a time of new beginnings, and it all starts with rest. And so this is to be mindful. Listen to your bodies, listen, because as the energies and Juliana McCarthy was talking about, it can manifest or show up in physical ways. Listen to what your body needs. If you need a 5-10 minute cat nap, take it. If you need to unplug and discharge for the day or the weekend or whatever it may be, do so. Listen to your body, what it needs. Hexagram 24 from divination.com. Don't move too fast, as a new momentum is just beginning. This turnaround requires that your energy be recharged by adequate rest so that your life force is not depleted prematurely. This principle of hibernation, of allowing energy to renew itself and be strengthened by rest, applies to many situations. Recuperation after an illness, the slow return of trust after a period of estrangement, the careful development of new relationships after the splitting apart of old ones. And this speaks to the hexagram 24 returning, speaks to everyone suffers setbacks from time to time. Some lucky people suffer small ones early in life and learn that they can survive a period of collapse. In this case, a minor setback is little more than an inconvenience, but serves to build character, as long as proper action is taken before things decline too far. Persevere, always returning to the main road, as good fortune lies ahead. It can also mean spectacular comebacks in any field are a sign of self-mastery. This is our first quote. Spectacular comebacks in any field are a sign of self-mastery. This is about walking the walk, talking the talk, honing and polishing your stone. Spectacular comebacks in any field are a sign of self-mastery. Achieving success the first time on the strength of one's natural abilities is good luck. Coming back after failure or disappointment indicates true strength of character. Follow the example of such people. They have much to teach you about discarding egocentric concerns and embracing the good. Such self-control brings great fortune. So this is that beautiful, hexagram 9, small restraint, surrender. That self-control brings about great fortune. Those who continually reverse their direction through a lack of self-control run great risks and are sometimes thought to be brilliant, but more often they are foolish and unstable. Be sure to chart a steady course and move steadily toward your goal. This is again discernment, clarity, soul source connection, and listening, going as guided, versus egocentric, ego mind, personality, I know best, and I. Narcissism, all these things that actually are foolish and unstable. they come to an end. Those who have been under the influence of self-serving people can turn themselves around through the positive support of one true friend. A willingness to abandon herd instincts may lead to some lonely moments. However, with the help of a like-minded person, it can lead to much success. So this is again about how we gravitate, who we're gravitating towards and to, and one single change, one single new person can change a person's life, a person's world. And lastly, when the turning point arrives, the noble search their heart, and in so doing, discover their true course. It's about what's at your center. Those who are honest with themselves rise to the occasion in moments of great importance. Blind obstinacy brings misfortune, because opportunities available to the open-minded are lost when rigid pride prevails. When we're not open to receive, when we're not open and in the flow, these beautiful opportunities pass us by. It brings about misfortune. Once a golden opportunity has been missed, trying to recreate it will most likely not work. The best course of action in such a situation is to be humble, let go, and learn from your mistakes. So it is about, go ahead, take that risk, because you never know what someone's going to say. You never know until you try. You never know until you take that quantum leap of faith that delivers you. And so at this threshold of the unknown, it's about universal magic, awe, and wonder. It's about God in all things and around us, within us, and this God code, this divine DNA activation. And I just want to bring in our two other quotes. This beautiful, spectacular comebacks in any field are a sign of self-mastery. It's so important, so beautiful. And the third quote, the universe is full of magical things patiently waiting for our wits to grow sharper. See, this is where they're waiting on us. And they're not waiting, but they're awaiting us. They're saying, see, it's on offer. Here's that threshold of the unknown, and it's universal magic, awe, and wonder. Well, the universe is full of magical things patiently waiting for our wits to grow sharper. This is by Eden Philpotts. So we have this really beautiful opportunity before us. And number 8 is the final thing from the unseen. They said, really? Question mark, exclamation point. As if you didn't already know. So they're saying to us, really? Like, as if you didn't already know all of this? We know when we're in alignment. We know when we're in the purity of intention. We know when we're aligned with truth and love and kindness and courage and compassion and empathy, goodness, the way. And we know when we're not. And it all boils down to choice. And so with these, again, the eclipse energies, the second Virgo new moon, the first Virgo new moon, the solar eclipse, the yod, and the Mars, Uranus, Neptune yod, and the Mars, Pluto square, all of these energies that are arcing out. It's about fast approaching revelations, or fast approaching revelation, revealing what's hidden. That can be about revealing who you are to yourself. You can wake up with this revelation or have this aha moment that says, all this time I thought I was X. And in a knowing, an instant, a revelation, I come to realize, oh, I'm really Z or Y or A, whatever it may be. And that's true individually, and that's true of the collective, for the whole of the whole. Powerful, powerful energies playing out. Next week, love the topic. So thank you all for being here, for your presence during the lives. Please go to www.dearjames.com, like, follow, share, subscribe, all of those good things. If you'd like an intuitive reading, please also look into that. And I cannot wait to be with you all next week, because it is a powerful main theme. Until then, be kind, be well, be determined, and be in the flow. Be ready to jump and recognize that actionary energies are at hand with fast approaching revelation and revealing what's hidden. We'll see you next week.